Hey guys, Ningen here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and it has been a while since we have done one of these, so I thought it was time for the King to return and hold court once again for another Super Battle Road no items run. And today we are of course doing the Potara category stage. So I did mention this a little bit back when this awakening was first revealed, but I had a feeling that the awakening for Candy Vegito was going to go a long way towards making this possible, because his dodge chance increased with his awakening, and then of course he gained the ability to increase his defense with the amount of orbs you collect. Obviously he does increase his attack if they're tech orbs, but just getting that little bit of extra defense was really useful, because if you remember back to when Super Battle Road first became a thing, and if you ran the Candy Vegito who with no awakening at the time on the Super Tech stage, as a free-to-play unit, even Rainbow, if he failed to dodge, he would take around 100k from normal attacks, which is obviously for a no items run, that is not what you want. But with a 70% chance to dodge, and of course he has that chance to stun, and he can build up his stats as the fight goes on as well. So I felt like it was going to be doable. I'd managed to get to the final fight, which is against Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, at least once before his awakening was actually available. And so I knew that as long as we got the good RNG, we would be able to get it done this time around. So obviously we are running double LR Vegitos. Mine is Rainbow and so is the friend. Then key choice picks, we've got the STR LR Vegito Blue. Of course he is a unit that I'm sure you all know by now, very good defensively, able to stack his defense if you keep getting the 12 key supers, meaning he will be able to take hits very well even though we are unable to use items. Then we have the AGL Super Vegito. So that might seem like a weird choice considering the final fight is against Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but the problem is my physical Super Vegito only has 2 dupes, and he cannot take normal attacks for double digits like the AGL Vegito can. They're obviously both going to take around about the same from a super attack anyway, unless it's from a tech opponent. So I felt like it was worth taking that risk and putting him on the team, even though there are a couple of tech opponents. With a lot of these no item runs, it all comes down to RNG. So of course we have the RNG master himself, Candy Vegito, and we managed to get the stun on the Gotenks, which is huge, because throughout this Potara stage, the first 2 fights are against 2 opponents, and then the final fight is only against 1. So the more often Candy Vegito can stun, the more likely we are to actually be victorious, because we don't have to take anywhere near as many attacks. So those are our sort of main units, and then of course it came down to filling the final spaces. Now I know Gowasu and Zamasu would be an amazing unit for this team. I believe they lower attack with their super, but they are not only decent defensively, but they buff allies defense. So if we had them on global, I would probably swap out Kefla for them, but we are using Kefla. She does have a built-in chance to dodge. She does have the chance to get off a bunch of additional attacks as well, but unfortunately she is not the best defensive unit, so if she does take hits, she will take a fairly reasonable amount of damage. But unfortunately the Potara team is just short on other options. We have those big main choices that you kind of put in with no questions asked, but then the last couple of options are a little bit more up in the air. So I decided for the final one to bring Zamasu. He's a little bit of a liability in this first fight because it's against double physical opponents, but he can reduce damage. So I mean, unfortunately against the physical enemies he does still take quite a little bit, but he's able to reduce the damage received, and he heals on super attack as well, which is obviously going to come in very handy considering that we can't use items to heal ourselves. So we're already down 1 opponent. We are just under half health. This is a pretty decent defensive rotation. Vegito taking a super attack. Maybe Candy Vegito would have dodged it, but at least he is going to take the least damage out of anyone on the rotation. I was kind of tempted to put Zamasu in the front to go for that heal straight off the bat, but it's a good thing we didn't, because that probably would have been a GG right there, considering, as you see, we're taking 60k from normals. But this is basically the goal for this first stage, because honestly, I think the first stage is probably the hardest one for this no items run. As long as we were able to get to turn 6 and fuse into Vegito, really just for the full heal other than anything else. So here I feel like I kept the rotation like this just because I wanted them to get their links active, but in hindsight I probably should have put AGL Vegito in the front, because putting the int unit in front of 3 attacks, if any one of those was a super, it kind of undoes all of the hard work that we put into the run so far and actually getting to the point of fusing. Because I tried a couple of attempts at this where I couldn't not kill the final enemy before we got the fusion, and we'd go into the second fight on very low health, which of course is not what you want. So he did not end up supering in the first slot, so if we'd put AGL Vegito there, he would have only taken double digits, but it's only a couple of thousand, so we can't really complain about that. And yeah, he doesn't super attack at all this turn, so that works out perfectly. And this Vegito will finish him off. So this is a double bonus as well, because it means we get to go into the next fight with the Candy Vegito rotation. Going into the start of a new fight with one of your main stunner or tanks on the rotation gives you a huge benefit when it comes to trying to do the no items run. So that's a very, very good start. So we're going to put Candy Vegito in this front slot and see if we can stun someone straight away. So I think, given the rotation, let's see. So we're going to we'll put Kefla at the back, yeah, because the int attacks. So we will try and stun Gotenks with Candy Vegito, because Vegito Blue in the middle is taking an attack from both of them anyway, and at least Kefla does have type advantage over Gogeta at the end, and we can pick up a ton of physical orbs. So I guess we made up for the fact that we took a little bit more damage with the int Vegito than we would have with AGL Vegito at the end of the last fight, because we are back to full health thanks to all those same type orbs that we picked up for Kefla. So unfortunately no stun for Candy Vegito, but he does dodge the super attack, so that's big. Some of the super attack animations, as you'll see like throughout the run, I don't know when the dodge thing is going to flick up, and definitely was on the edge of my seat a couple of times. So I am recording this commentary after having actually recorded the run. Unfortunately, with these no item runs, they take so many attempts that I now just record them without commentary, because back when I first started doing them, there was a couple of times where I would, you know, go through all my intro, start talking about the team, go through a load of the units, and then die, and then have to start all over again and do it all again. So it's much easier to do it this way. And Kefla took a super from Gogeta, but that was just good. Basically a good rotation, the way that worked out there, because she took only about 80k from a super from him, which is actually very, very good. So considering they both super attack last turn, I'm going to put AGL Vegito in the front slot here. Now, obviously, if he takes a super attack from Gotenks, we probably would die, even on like 300, well, almost 400,000 HP. That super attack from Gotenks would probably do around 370, I would say. But because he super attacked last turn, I'm going to take the risk that he won't super this turn, because as you can see, if they don't super attack him, he just takes double digits, and that is huge. Plus the counters as well. Not doing the biggest amount of damage, especially when we don't get crits, but at the end of the day, that is a little bit of extra bonus damage, so we can't really complain about that. Plus, Vegito does raise the attack of not only himself but the rest of the rotation when he super attacks. So these counters now going to do at least a little bit more damage. So, and a crit as well. So 400k, nicely chipping away at Gogeta. Unfortunately, no crit for the Gotenks one. So not a lot of damage there thanks to the type disadvantage. But let's see. We are... Oh, additional super from the LR Vegito. We will absolutely take that. So we are just over halfway through Gogeta's health bar. I'm trying to prioritize taking out Gogeta first, because the team does have a lot of int units. So once Gogeta is down, it'll be a lot easier for us to position our units in front of Gotenks, so we can maximize that type disadvantage that he has over us. So Yeah, I think Candy Vegito in the front slot is probably still the best choice. And we'll go for the stun on Gotenks, just because he obviously is the one who's still pretty much at full health. If we can get him stunned, then we can spend the rest of the turn focusing on taking out Gogeta. So I'm going to grab the Int Orb there instead of the STR, just because I want there to be an extra orb for the Vegito. And unfortunately, we were still just one key shy of getting the 18 key super with them. But you can see there, when Candy Vegito doesn't dodge, he does still take quite a reasonable amount of damage. So fortunately, he comes in clutch for the rest of the attacks there. Only taking one hit. I'll definitely take that. So Vegito, now that he's built up his defense a little bit, he's taking reasonable damage as well. And then, yeah, we've got Gogeta's super low now. Yeah, nice and defensive at the end of the rotation. So I feel like we are definitely going to get the Dokkan mode this turn. So, or are we? We're super close. But yeah, I think we probably are. So we got to put our Vegito in the front slot here. Because not only can we get him an 18 key super, but if Gotenks was to super attack in that first slot, at least the LR Vegito wouldn't die. Oh, well, there you go. So he's going to go ahead and do that. So yeah, if I'd put AGL Vegito in that front slot, we absolutely would have died just now. So that was definitely the good play. So unfortunately, the Dokkan mode going at quite a quick pace, and as those of you who aren't new to the channel will know, hitting those nodes with the mouse on the emulator on the PC when it moves at speed is somewhat difficult. So unfortunately, we do miss those last three, but we should still do a pretty significant amount of damage with this Dokkan attack. Okay, yeah, well, we didn't take out Gogeta, but they're basically both almost dead. So that should work out quite nicely for us. I wonder if will AGL Vegito have enough power to finish off Gogeta. The crit is a good start. Ooh, the additional super, that is very good. I think we could take him out here. Yeah, I think we did, because he was attacking Vegito, wasn't he? So we took him out with the additional super attack. That's perfect. And then Kefla going to be able to do a little bit of damage here to Gotenks, and we should be able to finish him off next turn. So second super attack gets a crit. Doesn't quite fit. Oh, okay, well, Kefla's going off. So I completely forgot that this had happened at the end of this fight. So there you go. 3 supers in a row from Kefla, and we take out Gotenks, which again puts us in that perfect position where now we are going into the final fight with Candy Vegito on rotation, and Zamasu as well, actually. So that works out very nicely, because now with his type advantage and the fact that he is a good defensive unit anyway, this fight is where Zamasu can really shine, because he's not going to take a lot of damage. He's going to heal us when he super attacks. See, I'm not sure how to do this rotation, because until LR Vegito builds up his attack, he's still going to take quite a lot of damage. But what am I doing here? I couldn't get a super attack for Candy Vegito in the front slot, so I decided to put Vegito in the front slot and hope for the best, and then get Candy Vegito in the middle, because that allows us to now get super attacks with everyone. But look at that, 47k from a normal attack on LR Vegito Blue. So, oh, we got the additional super as well. So this is big, because this is double the defensive raise. So yeah, we went from 47k to taking 15 roughly. So that's not bad at all. And then Candy Vegito going to come in. We managed to get him a super. Yes, okay. So that was definitely the big brain play on that rotation, because getting Candy Vegito enough key to super meant that we got the stun. And then Zamasu supering gave us a little bit of health back as well. So we are comfortably above half health. My original strategy for getting to this fight was that I was going to float off Super Vegito as quickly as possible, because of course he has type disadvantage. And with Gogeta stunned here, it doesn't matter that there's a lot of attacks in the last slot. But then I realised that if we get to the 6th turn and we've ended up, you know, messing up the rotation, so we don't have an LR Vegito and we don't get that transformation, that could be the thing that makes us lose a run that we otherwise would have won. So because he's stunned and we don't have to worry about him hitting us at all, I decided to do the rotation like this so we can get this friend LR Vegito off onto the other rotation, just in case we can secure that transformation. So this rotation definitely a little bit more sketchy. I'm very much relying on Candy Vegito to get stuns here, because I'm really uncomfortable with the idea of putting Kefla in the last slot and having her take like 5 attacks. So yeah, I decided to put her in the middle, as much as it kind of pains me a little bit to float off LR Vegito Blue. It makes a lot more sense. We've already seen that he's only going to take around 15k from normals. He's going to get another super hit. Oh, this was the one that really had me. So whew. Candy Vegito gets the dodge and we are all good. But yeah, we already know that he's going to tank well after he gets that super off. And in the end, Candy Vegito does come through and get me the stun. So I didn't have to do that. But obviously, having done these no item runs and tried, and this is, you know, I've done a lot of attempts on the Potara run, even before Candy Vegito got his awakening, like I said. And you know, as you start to do these, that you just can't take those risks. Like if Candy Vegito hadn't got the stun, Kefla would have got absolutely obliterated by Gogeta in that last slot. So that was the smart way to play. Always playing it safe is better on these no item runs. So at least this way we are in a good position. He's stunned, so we are all good here. So if possible, I really want to get supers with Zamasu, but he doesn't link well with really anyone else on the team, because obviously as he's not a Saiyan or a Fusion, he doesn't have prepared for battle or fused fighter. Really on the Potara team, he only links well with Goku Black or the LR Black and Zamasu. So it's annoying because he's really worth having on the team, but he just doesn't link well. So I decided to keep him in the first slot because, like I said, I want to get Super Vegito off the rotation, and having him around for his healing is going to be really useful. So even though he can't super attack this turn, it's good to keep him there ready for future rotations. So now we're able to float off AGL Vegito, because we really don't want him in front of too many attacks, just in case one of those ends up being the super. So, and there are a lot of orbs for us to pick up here, so I think this is a very good turn for popping off with Candy Vegito, because the more orbs you pick up, the more he raises his defense. So if he doesn't dodge, he'll be able to tank reasonably well. So I go ahead and give him all of those orbs, and then yeah, we give the physicals to Vegito instead of Kefla. Obviously it's not the 18 key, but I always want to super attack with him over not super attacking with him. And since I can't get a super for Kefla, I decide to just give her the one orb, because I can use those other ones for the future rotations potentially. So Candy Vegito taking 60k, but he comes through with the stun yet again. So I believe from when I was talking about his details on the separate video, his stun chance is only 30%, but he even stunned on the additional. But yeah, so he's been coming through on this battle against Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. That is very, very good indeed. So we are minimizing the amount of damage. I was kind of hoping, I really thought in this fight I was going to have to just kind of try and hold down the fort until we were able to fuse. But the way it's been going so far, we really don't need to. So yeah, so I decide here that I am going to get Zamasu in the last slot, just because it all works out very nicely with the orbs. We're able to, of course, putting Vegito Blue in the front slot, he basically auto supers at this point. So that's another stack for him for his defense. But it means we can get a super attack for the LR, and then we can get the super with Zamasu. Because there was a couple of like runs there where it was like 5 orbs, and I needed to maneuver it into the position where we could get those 3 int orbs. And then he comes through with an additional super, so that is an additional heal as well. So as you can see, we are now sitting comfortably at about 70% HP. So we have AGL Super Vegito back on the rotation. I don't really want to put him in that last slot just in case, because 3 attacks, again, this is what I was talking about before. We can't count on Candy Vegito to stun. So I'm going to play it safe, put him in the middle. I mean, for all I know, that one attack in the middle could be a super attack, and then it would probably be GG. But it's definitely safer to put him in front of one attack. And Candy Vegito stuns again. I think he's stunned every single time he's super attacked Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which is actually incredible. I've done runs of this earlier on before getting this one recorded where he didn't stun at all. And here he is stunning Gogeta every single time. So this was the point where I knew that's it. We've won because he's stunned for this turn. And look at his health. We've got Vegito Blue, who even with his 12 key super, he will probably finish him off. And then if he doesn't, we've got the 12 key super from LR Vegito and potential multiple attacks from Kefla. So does Vegito Blue finish it off here? He has stacked his attack quite a lot. Yeah, he gets a crit, 1,000,000 damage. And there you go. That is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta down for the count. So there you go. It's been a while, like I said, since we've done one of these, but the Candy Vegito Awakening, making it all possible. That is another one of the category stages of Super Battle Road, beaten with no items used. Not the best time for this stage, because obviously items do make it a little bit easier, but I always like to bring up this screen at the end just to show, as you can see there, no items used. And there we go. So the Super Battle Road King is back in town, baby. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.